So we were performing, and I think it was the Provincetown. We played every theater in the village, and I think it was either the Cherry Lane or the Provincetown, where Elia Kazan and Cheryl Crawford and Bobby Lewis came backstage to recruit working actors for this idea they had, where the actors can come and work. And what pleased us most of all was that there would be no charge.
We're talking about the beginning.
But that's the very beginning.
So you were there from the beginning.
They recruited actors. Now, I did not go right away to the studio because I was also, at that time, thank God I was working. I was scheduled to go out with Mae West, and I was then gone with John Garfield. And then there was a question also about whether they would have me or Maureen Stapleton. And I said, I don't have to go through that. So I kind of discarded the whole idea of the Actors Studio. But I would go to the Actors Studio and be part of any kind of projects they would have, or any kind. They would call me friends, and they would say, oh, well, I'm doing this thing, would you do this part? So I was known in the studio, and Lee knew me and everything. But I never really joined the studio. I was kept very independent. But I was busy, and thank God I was busy in a lot of television. And finally, when I did want to finally say, yes, I will take that offer up, and I will absolutely accept that invitation and go to the studio now. But by this time, it was getting so popular that they had to form a ruling that you can't get into your audition. Well, Peter, I was not going to audition for my peers, my friends, you know what I mean? The whole idea of this saying, Anna, you're not right, would devastate my life, right? Or they would accept me, whatever. I wasn't going to take a chance. So I said, I don't need to go to the studio, I'm working, you know. But I was doing a play at the Cubiculo, which was on 50-something Street, and one of the artistic directors of the studio happened to have been there to see the play because he was watching another actress. He said, Anna, my God, why aren't you a member of the studio? I said, I'm waiting to be invited. He said, you're invited. Nice. So at that point, I went back, and then I became a very active member of the studio, and a well-respected one, I feel. So, as a matter of fact, one of the lines in the review with the Ruba says, Anna learned about the method when she was 10 years old, because what happened was, when I was 10 years old in the settlement house, they wanted me to play the part of a mother who just lost her son. I was 10 years old. And it was the director, and I was phoning with, a glass of water for my tears. And she said, if you think of something sad, maybe real tears will come. So I do. So that was my first lesson, unknowingly, of method. But, the method is great, and the actors in the studio are fantastic. But I never credit Lee Strasberg for any of my work. I don't, because I've really never worked with him intensely. Piscata is the one who encouraged me, and he's the one. We're doing a show, a Russian play, and I'm supposed to be sweeping the floor, the floor that's really ground. And I'm standing there with my broom, and Mr. Piscata says, Naya, Anna, what are you waiting for? I said, Mr. Piscata, I'm waiting for the curtain to go up. He said, no. Life goes on. You are sweeping up, and then the curtain goes up on you. What a revelation. So that was one of the most important lessons that Piscata taught me. And Piscata gave me the opportunity of playing roles far beyond my years and far beyond, and what a great hour. That's really getting the audience. They were my gauge. And he taught me one thing, too, that was very important. He said, no matter how sad a play is, just remember, a laugh is money in the bank. And that's another thing, to find humor in tragedy. It's another thing he taught me. And he taught me, and he encouraged me. That's, I think, the main thing. And when someone's encouraged, they blossom.